Life can be full of the proverbial trials and tribulations that have a bearing on your worldview perspective. Throughout our childhood and into our adult years, we are exposed to countless advertisements, see movies, enjoy television shows, or sports telecasts. We hear catchphrases, slogans, and all sorts of witty little euphemisms that stick with us and help define our attitude about pretty much everything in our life. There are all sorts of quotes that float around on the internet. Some are profound, others are silly. This article features a handful of life quotes that can be deemed as inspirational or profound. It's meant to help you keep an open mind and be hopeful, as opposed to the doom and gloom that has invaded our broadcasting airwaves. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Albert Einstein. I'm not certain who originally stated many of these quotes, but over the years I have been exposed to them, and for whatever reason, they have stuck with me. The reason I like this quote is because it can be used for relationships, business endeavors, entrepreneurialism, sports, and so much more. We've all heard those silver lining cliches, but this is more sophisticated and strikes a more profound chord with me. A tide raises all ships. John F. Kennedy. Over the years, I've been able to apply this quote to my own businesses as well as friends who have opened up shop. I find it humorous when a coffee shop owner gets worried and fears impending doom when a Starbucks moves in a block over. Initially, one could think about closing up shop and getting into another line of work. However, if you really think about it, everyone knows the Starbucks icon. Most locations attract a lot of coffee drinkers. I find it hard to believe that all of the customers that drink coffee in that particular neighborhood would only go to Starbucks. Their establishment is bound to get more foot traffic. In fact, many of the businesses next to that new Starbucks have gone up in value. Their opening enhances everything around it. If you have a dream, strive to achieve it. It may not happen overnight, but if you are persistent, it very well could happen when you least expecting it. My takeaway from this quote is that being patient is a key to success. Don't get too bent out of shape if your master plan doesn't happen in the time frame you had hoped to achieve. Let it percolate, and if it's meant to be, it will happen. Don't cry over the past, it's gone. Don't stress about the future, it hasn't arrived. Live in the present and make it beautiful. And strive to put yourself in a better situation down the road, but at the end of the day, you can't control what's in the cards. You have to roll with the punches. Make every day count, because it can be gone in the blink of an eye. This quote has been stuck in my brain for 20 years, but all it seems to do is get me riled up. It's so easy to say this to someone else, it's much more difficult to actually let it go. It's so obvious, but rubs me in a condescending way. This is a fairly new quote for me. It's been a few years since I first heard it, and I really like the simplicity. This is the visual reminder that when I wake up the next day, it's another do-over. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Confucius. This is a quote I might have heard on an episode of Kung Fu. I don't know where I got it, but I do know that it's completely true. Humankind has thrown so much emotion, righteous indignation, and complexity into everything from religion, territorial rights to individual rights. We tend to sweat the small stuff. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Soren Kierkegaard. I learned about Soren Kierkegaard in college back in the early 1990s, and this quote always kept things in perspective for me. Instead of trying to be a perennial fixer, I need the occasional reminder to enjoy every day and be tolerant of the hiccups that come along the way. Most people have a few dozen sayings or quotes that inspire them to be more productive or positive. I've listed 8 quotes that meant something to me and would love to read some of your favorites. Thank you for reading.